Hi, and hello to all the Living Martial Arts podcast fans. It's me, the Dark Master, once again, coming back to you with another podcast. I got a fantastic guest for you today, a gentleman called Mr. Harry Flexman. And we haven't had this so far. I've done a few interviews with different people from different arts, but we haven't had anyone doing who has studied Filipino martial arts and things like that. So it's really great to have you on. How are you, Harry?
Well, I'm really well today. Thank you, Ray. Thank you very much for having me on. It's always wonderful to appear as a guest, and yeah, I think we're going to really enjoy this chat. So
yeah,
thanks very much.
No worries. Well, I'm super excited. I have dipped my toe in it. It's only been one toe into Filipino martial arts in the past. I had a little bit of an insight, but just a tiny bit. So this is going to be great for me as well, actually, to find out a little bit more about you and what you do and so on, and your background. So without any further ado, as I ask all my guests, and I know this can take probably 6 months for a lot of people, telling me about their martial arts journey, because as I say, as martial artists, we like to tell people where we've come from and where we're going. But just telling us a little bit about your martial arts journey, really, how it started, and you know, perhaps what the places you've been on throughout that journey.
Yeah, of course. I'll try and make it succinct and you know, buck the trend a little bit here. I was a bit of a late starter. I was like my early 20s, so it was while I was at university, and the first art that I ever tried was capoeira, so the Brazilian break dancing, partly musical, partly kind of dancing, partly fighting, and that really fascinated me. It was, when I went to the first class, it was like the first exercise I've done in a very long time. So I was completely out of shape, massively deconditioned, couldn't really hold my own body weight in the way that you need to for the particular style of capoeira. And the style, I don't know if you've seen capoeira, sometimes it looks like, you know, backflips and really high spinning kicks and everything. But the style I did was quite low to the ground and quite close with your partner. So you need to actually react to what they were doing. It wasn't like a display in front of each other. It was actually, you know, they would do a crescent kick and you'd have to duck underneath, or you'd have to kind of go down on your hands and try and sweep their leg at the same time. So it's quite reactive in that way, but it's very low to the ground, and these, like, what felt at the time like contorted, almost calisthenic positions, where I really enjoyed the class. It was truly amazing. And then, you know, for like 2 weeks afterwards, all of my muscles were sore and my brain was going, never go back, never go back. But then the other part of my brain was going, go back tomorrow, go back tomorrow. and that was the start of this hook of combining brain and body in a slightly interactive way. Like capoeira, because of its history, it doesn't look as combative as the intention that goes into it, because you know, if you know the origin, it's from Brazil, when there's the kind of black slaves who are hiding their practice. They're hiding their fight practice. That's why there's a circle of people around the outside all singing and clapping together, and the two people in the middle, they're practicing fighting, so that the officials didn't see what was happening. So that was the first thing.
I must say, I've done a tiny little bit in the past. I did do a little bit because I just wanted to experience what it was like, because I really like the look of it, and I used to be a bit of a break dancer in my past.
Oh, nice.
And it actually really appealed to me when I saw it. I thought, wow, that's like break dancing but fighting.
yeah, absolutely. And it was that hook and idea that drew me in. But then the thing that kept me was the interaction between the two people, and how I'd actually have to react to what the other person was doing, because you'd actually get like kicked if you didn't. It was slow and gentle, because they were a very nice group and knew that I was a complete newbie. But you know, there was some consequence to not quite doing it right. That was pretty cool. Then I was at a heavy metal festival in Germany, and I broke my wrist, and it was on my dominant hand. And because I broke it by, I don't know if that's flexion or extension. That's extension that way. I broke it by extension. It was in a cast, and after it came out of the cast, I couldn't put my hands flat on the floor for doing like a normal push-up position. So I couldn't really practice capoeira, but I could do knuckle push-ups. where
Yes.
my metacarpals were aligned with my radius and ulnar in my forearm. And I was like, oh, I could do knuckle push-ups. I wonder if I can punch things. And then it's like, maybe I can punch things. I could probably do some like boxing class or something. So I was searching for a boxing class near me.
Sure.
And I found something called Thai boxing. And I was like, Thai boxing, basically the same, isn't it? That's obviously just insulted pretty much all of the martial arts community there by equating those two to being exactly the same. I went on to Thai boxing and found that it was way more than what I was expecting. And again, it hooked me in because there was this interaction, but this time I got to hit things really hard. And pads to start with, and the sparring was friendly because I was new. You know, there was no success in sparring. Success was like surviving and feeling like I wasn't flinching quite so frequently.
Sure.
That got me into Muay Thai, and I've trained Muay Thai pretty much since then.
Okay. Yeah.
And like there was a couple of moving of locations in between here. When I moved to a new location in Newcastle in the northeast, I was looking for a new Muay Thai gym to go and join and kind of carry on my training because I really enjoyed it. And all the ones I found, I probably went around 3 or 4 different gyms to see what the atmosphere was like and whether the students were friendly and what the coaches were like and all that kind of thing. And the one I found was a combination of the most friendly and the coach who explained things in the way that resonated with me. And also the students were kind and like looked after new people. You know, there wasn't this weird like clique. You know, sometimes if you show up a gym, they're like, oh, newbie, well, you need to earn your way into our friendship group. There was none of that. So I was like, this is definitely the right vibe for me. So I stayed there. And at that gym, the coach offered multiple martial arts, including shoot wrestling. So it's like an MMA style wrestling, grappling, kickboxing and Muay Thai as separate arts and separate arts because they are different style to them, as well as a different rule set.
Sure.
And a Jeet Kune.
Okay.
From the Junfan Jeet Kune. So it's the kind of the Inasanto curriculum style.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And also Filipino Kali. I was like, well, those look okay, but they're not Muay Thai, so whatever. And then gradually, as I was kind of coming in at that Muay Thai classes and watching some of the others, you know, before Muay Thai or after Muay Thai, I was like, what's that stick twirly one? Yeah, it just looks like Morris dancing to me. They're just like, you know, twirling these batons around and clicking sticks together. What's that all about? And then one of the days the coach said to me, oh mate, you got to try out Kali. You're going to love it. I was like, really? Are you sure? And, you know, we built a bit of a friendship by then because I've been training a year or so. And I trusted him enough to go along to one class. Really skeptical. I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this. This is just going to be rubbish. And it blew my mind because it was the combination of the brain body puzzle that Capoeira is, and then the brutality that Muay Thai is, kind of all put together. And then with the added dimensions of as well as different ranges of unarmed combat, there was the weapon element thrown in. And the weapons could be like equal-sided, so you both got one stick, you both got 2 sticks, you both got 1 knife, you both got a stick and a knife. It could be unequal-sided, so someone's got 2 sticks and someone else has got 1 knife. You know, like, oh, who's going to win out of that? Someone has range and impact, and the other one has quickness, and you don't need to generate but much force to be effective with the knife. Then there was the other dimension of I have nothing in my hands, I'm empty-handed, and someone else has some kind of weapon.
Right.
And all of these things together, it made my brain fizzle. And I was like, yes, okay, yes, this is the one. And that was, I want to say 16 or 17 years ago.
Right,
and
yeah.
It's just hooked me in ever since. So I've trained like a bunch of other arts as I've gone along, but in my head, all of them have fed into my own kind of Filipino martial arts framework here.
Yeah.
And I think the way that we got connected was through Adam Woodhouse.
Yes, that's right.
And the way I connected to Adam is that when I moved to Bath, which is where I live now, when I moved to Bath, I was looking for different clubs to train at, as you do when you
Sure.
move to a new city. And I found this one called Team Nemesis, which was being run by Dima.
Okay, yeah,
Don't know if you know Dima.
I do, yeah.
Dmitro Konstantinov.
Yes, yeah.
And I went along there, and we instantly got along. And he offered boxing, wrestling, and you call it CQC, close quarter combat. It's like kind of the Jeff Thompson, Dorman, emergency, self-defense, and but not just techniques of self-defense, but the verbal aspect, the social aspect, and the psychological aspect.
That's right. Yeah.
And that was really amazing.
Yeah,
and
arguably the most important aspect, to be honest, but go on.
Yeah, I don't think it's arguable. 100% agree with you.
Well, yes, yeah.
So like, I don't know, when it comes to self-defense techniques, for me, the biggest effect of having a good technique is confidence in yourself, and then you'll carry yourself better, or have a small enough ego not to get in stupid situations.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the pre-contact social and psychological part. But training with Dima was really eye-opening. So, like anybody, the first time they ever do like a verbal scenario that includes really like posturing and violent language and really threatening, even from somebody you kind of know, it's quite a shock. Yeah. And it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Don't worry, my cat's joining us, but my cat's very sociable, so and really good to watch for self-defense, by the way. But go on.
Excellent. Yeah, the posturing, the size, going on sideways so you look even bigger. Brilliant. And then it actually got claws as well. My cats are asleep in the room, so hopefully they'll stay asleep, because if they wake up, they'd be a bit noisy. So I trained with Dima for a good number of years, and trained boxing and wrestling while I was at his club. And then later during the pandemic, when I was actually trying to make more friends online rather than being isolated online and only making friends locally in real life, I saw this logo. It was like a kind of a pair of people, and they were in red with a white background. I was like, I recognize that. Where's that from? That's the Team Nemesis logo. Who's that person? And it turns out that Adam kind of trained Dima quite a lot. And I think he just about finished training at Dima's club when I joined. So we only just missed each other kind of training at the same club. We've got on really well online, and we're trying to organize an in-person meetup, but our diaries just haven't quite overlapped properly yet.
Well, but make sure you count me in. I'll come along and have a chat. It would be great.
yeah that would be awesome. We need to actually make it an official thing.
It'd be great. It'd be great. Well, no, that it's really interesting, because there are a lot of parallels, to be honest, I think, with people on our martial arts journey. And I think one of the things that I like to bring back to what you said was that, you were saying about when you first started doing Kali, and you thought, wow, this is for me. Now, I actually started with karate, very traditional karate, and it was okay. It was just, I happened to hear that this was a really great school. You go across there, and I went there, but there were all these huge guys. I'm 5'6". There were all these huge guys. I thought, wow, it's quite intimidating. I started doing this. And it was great. I was really enjoying it, until there was a school that I realized. I saw a poster of a man flying through the air. Mm-hmm. It said Taekwondo, and actually said the most powerful martial art in the world. And I thought,
how can you resist that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I thought, wow, that's a claim, isn't it? I remember going along there, and actually, what impressed me was that there were small guys, and it was a lot of jumping around and kicking. I thought, that looks more like for me. I remember I had my first lesson. I thought, yes, this is what I want to do. Because it was actually just I love the movement of it, of the Taekwondo, because it was very similar to dance. I was into dancing, and to me it was just dance steps, really. that's what it was. But and which sort of reverberated what you said there with the capoeira, because I saw that and had a little go, and I thought, this is just like breakdancing. But I often say, and people have asked me before, they've said to me, hi sir, I want to really improve my sparring. What do you think I should do? I said, take up dancing. And they said, Sorry, I said, yeah, just take up a little bit of dancing. Why? I said, well, it's about movement. It's about being able to move your body in different ways and move your feet and whatever. I think some of them think I'm joking, but I'm very serious.
Well, it's rhythmic. There's
Yes.
coordination. There's balance, and there's
Yeah.
interaction with a partner or interaction with a group. And
Yeah.
sometimes doing that from a completely different context, but having the same attributes can be really valuable.
Definitely.
Because there's oh great, I think we're going to get into something really deep here, which is great.
That's okay.
There's like, in trying to think of what would the perfect lesson be for hang on, we'll get to who it's for. What would the perfect lesson be, or what would the perfect syllabus be, or what would the perfect fight camp be leading up to a particular event or something?
Yeah.
It's really tempting for those of us who are obsessed, lifelong martial arts kind of fools, and I call myself a martial arts nerd, and if that applies to you as well, then
yes, it does.
Nice.
Oh, big time.
Cool. For us lifelong obsessed martial art nerds, we're like, okay, well, here is the perfect order in which to do everything, and then we're going to break this up with really, really like context specific sparring drills, and I'm not going to do anything which is non-specific. So specificity is my main pillar here. Specificity, and then there's adaptation and SRA curve and progressive resistance and all that stuff. But specificity is what we need to cover here. So if I want to get better at sparring, I'm going to do sparring. But the smart way to do it is to isolate the parts that I'm not so good at yet and force myself to work on those elements. So if my attacking kicking combinations are kind of crap, then if I'm sparring with somebody, then I'll force myself. I can defend however I like, but if I'm counter-attacking, then it has to be more kicks than punches, or I can't just automatically clinch everybody because I'm kind of comfortable there.
Sure.
But then I try and apply that to other people, and it turns out that they're not quite as obsessed as me. And that they're human beings, and they have like emotions and different ideas, and
they have another life. They have lives.
Yeah, exactly. They have lives. So making it kind of fun and surprising and novel, but also familiar, and giving them a sense of individuality, but also a sense of being part of a team, and then giving them a sense of personal growth and a sense of giving back. If you can hit all 6 of those kind of core areas, then it almost doesn't matter exactly what the context of the exercise is. So if it is dancing and they're like, but I want to get better at fighting, you say, well, it's actually going to be a bit of a mental break from fighting if you're training a lot, or training the maximum that you can or want to at the moment. Then if you add more training, there's a diminishing return on the time investment. But if you add something that's completely novel, completely different and out of the ordinary, then your brain is going to be like excited about that and attracted towards it, as long as it's a thing that you enjoy doing, because you have to get that kind of quick win feedback stuff. And you're like, so there's some variety there. There's familiarity because it's using your brain and body and putting it together. And if we already prime you to going, right, this is going to make your sparring better because balance, coordination, interaction, movement, judgment, timing, and I think I already said interaction, coordination with other people. So they kind of primed how that's going to fit in their brain, rather than being separate topics of like fighting on one side and dancing on the other side. They've got fighting as their main topic, and the thing they're doing, dancing, is actually going to go into the fighting context, the fighting framework. And you kind of tell them that it's going to be fun, it's going to help you do the thing you want to do more of, it's going to be unusual, so it's brand new, and you're probably going to suck at it to start with, but you know what that really means is you're going to get better really, really quickly, and there'll be a very satisfying and rapid improvement curve. Then that would be like a more beneficial activity to someone who's not just they're not just a robot.
No, I get it.
Cool.
Very a very useful insight, but I actually do, my students will tell you this, I class myself as a martial arts nerd, and Proud to be one. Proud to be one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
fantastic.
Without a doubt. Well, the other thing that I want to just have a chat about, and you gratefully, and thank you very much, you sent me one of your programs, which is really, really good. And there was a couple of things I liked about it. Well, actually, there's more things than a couple of things. There was lots of things I liked about it. But
thank you very much. I am right here, so
two particular things I liked about it. Maybe you want to, I don't know, if you want to address them. I mean, I thought the delivery and the way you presented it was really, really good. I thought it was very, very easy to follow, and the way you got it across. I was sort of I put my white belt on, thinking, right, okay, I'm looking at this as somebody who hasn't really done anything, and would I understand it? And the answer to that is yes. So maybe you want to comment on that. But the second thing was that it was, when you look at something, and I said if you look at it with nerd eyes, you think, well, actually, there's a lot in this. There's a lot in this, and actually, you could spend probably 3 or 4 years perfecting what you've done there, because only because I've tried to teach stuff like that for 3 or 4 years, and people are still need to work on it. But it's always work in progress. Don't get me wrong. For example, I spent a little bit of time in David Hayes' boxing school.
Awesome.
And I remember I was thinking, right, we're going to learn to, first weekend we're going to learn to jab, cross, hook, duck and whatever. And we literally spent the weekend doing a jab.
Mm-hmm.
And even then it was like, right,
you're 1% in. yeah,
if that,
quite
if so. That. So I was looking at thinking, then that's really good program. I said, but that's a lot actually. If when you break it down, it's a lot of information. So sorry, this is a long question, but my thing is that the videos, are they there for self-teaching, or is it a case of saying, right, this is what I'd like you to do, but actually, if you want to come along to my class, we can go into this in a bit more detail, or whatever. I don't know. Perhaps I'll let you speak.
Sure. No, that's a great question, and I suppose it all kind of started with the beginning of lockdown, and I've had this idea for a long time for Fight Dad as an entity, as an idea, because I'm a father of young kids. They're 5 and 2 at the moment. So
and just to say, fightdad.com. So if you're interested in having a look, folks, get on there. Fightdad.com. Carry on.
Fantastic. Fightdad.com. And the program that we're talking about is called Challenge 28. So that's one of many fine programs on there that you'll find. So including some free stuff and some paid stuff, and I have a YouTube channel as well. If you don't even want to, make an account on the website, that's cool. There's all sorts of levels. Something I wanted to do was create content for everybody. So if you don't want to come anywhere near my world and you just want to watch YouTube stuff or videos on Facebook, then that's totally cool. I hope you get value. And if you want to dip a toe in my world and get some of the free courses, the idea with a course is that it's a collection of videos that are together in a coherent package. So rather than just watching random videos here and there in a weird order, it's like, actually, this makes much more sense if you watch 1, 2, and then 3, and then read this little bit of text so you gain that understanding. I've then also got some kind of paid courses that are a lot more in depth. Some are aimed towards students for self-study at home, and that was brought about by lockdown, first lockdown, early start of pandemic. And then others are more for instructors, and that's more about either improving their own Filipino martial arts classes, if they want something new to teach their students, or if they don't teach Filipino martial arts or weapons yet, and they want to get into a weapon system where there's actual fighting and sparring and it's all built around that, then I've got a whole membership built around that, where it's lesson plans and drill videos, and you print out the PDF, and it's like, here's what you're going to teach your students tonight, and here's the techniques in order, and here's what I tell people, so they get it. And I didn't mean this to turn into a product pitch. Apologies for that. Oh no! I genuinely think actually it's good, and there's not much I endorse, but what I liked about it, and yes, please go on. Anyone listens, please go and have a look. I like the simplicity of it, because some things you look at, you think,
there's no way I can do any of that. But anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's something I researched quite heavily before starting, and it was looking into. If you're anything like me, you've probably got a whole stack of VHS tapes and DVDs, and then DVD downloads where there's an hour or there's a 90-minute video. And first of all, who has 90 minutes to watch a whole 90-minute video anymore? Well, apparently people with Netflix. So
yeah,
there we go. Maybe we can get into that later about time usage and time wastage or investment. But for me, I've got this stack of DVDs, and I'm sure there's loads of really good value in there, but it's a barrier to entry to go, I need DVD number 3, and I need to fast forward to minute number 51 to get the one thing that you say to your students that helps them understand what you're trying to teach them. So my aim was to make almost all of my videos really short. So they're very bite-sized, easy to consume and understand one thing, one idea per video. I usually work in like 1s and 3s. So one idea, 3 things about it. So 3 technical cues or 3 strategic ideas, something like that.
Yeah.
So making those videos short was really important, and particularly because as like a new father, and I've got a day job as well, and I'm trying to keep a relationship going with my spouse as well. And we occasionally get 5 minutes to have a cup of tea and a chat with each other without the kids running around. I suddenly found myself much lower on training time. So that was one of the other drivers behind these really short, bite-sized videos. But yeah, I had the idea 5 years ago, but never did anything with it. And then lockdown came along, and I couldn't teach my regular in-person classes. So I was teaching Zoom classes for my students. And as well as the Zoom on the webcam, I had a much worse webcam than the one I've got at the moment. I would also put my phone up next to it and record the whole thing on my phone. So there'd be a higher quality version of it. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do with all these? I thought, well, I could just upload them on here and give my students free access so they can come back and do a 30-minute solo training class whenever they like. And that kind of inspired me to start the actual platform, the actual website where they can log in and do that. And it's kind of grown from there, because the strangest moments so far is when people who I didn't know were contacting me and go, it looks like you've got a solo training study from home course. Can I get access? And first of all, I let them in for free, and I was like, hang on a second here. There's some value element, and those who I let in for free, they were getting in for free, and then I can track some of the statistics of how much they log in and how much they watch and what they complete and stuff. And they just wanted the free thing. They didn't want to actually do it. Most of them. There were some people, obsessives like us, who would do everything and complete everything 100%, and we became friends, so that's all right. But then a lot of the people who wanted the free thing, they didn't do anything with it. So I thought, all right, well, I probably need to attach a monetary price to it, because then they're literally bought in. They're literally invested, and might as well try and get their money's worth from it. And that increased completion rates by a huge amount. And if you're not spotted, I'm as well as a martial arts nerd, I'm like an actual nerd as well. So I love tracking statistics and spreadsheets and calculating stuff like that. And it's helped me direct what I do next, because I can work out what's working, what's not working, and needs a little tweak. And I can make the tweak and then measure it afterwards. And that's pretty helpful. I'm not sure if I've actually answered your 2 questions yet.
Well, I think
one about delivery and one about the program. So I kind of covered a little bit about why we started on the programs.
I think you said quite a bit there, which is quite good. But sorry, carry on. I'll let you go on.
Thanks. So the question about delivery and presentation style is, you probably haven't seen any of my first 200 videos.
I haven't.
No, exactly. And thankfully, not many people did. Because if I watch them back now, then I'll be tempted to, you know, delete them off the internet or re-record them in a more modern way. There were lots of a lot lower energy delivery. Sure. When you're presenting on camera, there's kind of 10 to 20% energy dip.
Yes.
And so you have to really get, you know, good and enthusiastic about your topic, and hopefully it's something you are enthusiastic about, rather than just kind of talking in a normal voice. It actually comes across as being like in a bored voice.
Yeah.
So there's that element. So I've had a good practice of presenting to the camera, which scared the crap out of me to start with.
Yeah.
And can get into some of the responses to videos later. But I think before that, I've had a kind of a history of practice of presentation in front of groups of people. And even through school, you know, be involved in like the school play, or I kind of stand up and read a poem at parents' evening, or that kind of thing. And just overcoming those nerves in front of 20, 50 people in an actual, you know, auditorium environment. That was something that I've been involved with all along. And I've also played and performed music for a long time. I don't anymore. Well, I still play the guitar a little bit, but I don't perform on stage for music anymore. And there were 2 or 3 kind of higher pressure setups for that, and the 2 main ones were with my 2 heavy metal bands I was in. There was one from when I was 16 to about 20. We were called Zimmergy, and we were quite old school thrash metal band, a little bit like Slayer. And I was the rhythm guitar and lead vocalist. And then the second heavy metal band I was in, we were called That Hideous Strength, and we're a progressive death metal band. And I was the bass player and lead vocalist. So I'd be like stood in the middle, pretty much at the front. And so at any gigs, when anything would go wrong, you know, the drummer would break his stick, or a string would fall out of the lead guitarist's guitar, or, you know, some drunk person would fall over the PA stack and it would have to get rebuilt. Then I had 2 choices, really. I could just stand in front of everybody with the lights beaming on me like a lemon while something would get fixed, or nothing was happening, or it'd work out that it was broken and nothing we could do about it. Or I could, you know, chat and interact with the crowd and pretend to be confident. And
yeah.
And I started off not thinking to pretend to be confident. And then I was like, well, this is just getting worse, isn't it? What's the least appropriate joke that I can think to tell that would, you know, way worse than an icebreaker, but it broke the ice in my head for talking to people.
Yes.
Kind of like one to many, you know, even if you could only see the front row or the front couple of rows of people, you know, it's 20 or 30 people looking up to you being like, come on, I've paid money, entertain me here.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got nothing. And then we just kind of, it just overcame that, because there was no other option apart from running away off the stage. And thankfully I didn't quite do that. There was even one instance at one of my gigs where the PA that amplifies my voice completely cut out. So there was the guitar amplifiers that were powered separately, and then the drummer was smashing the drums as hard as he possibly could. And so no one could hear my normal singing voice, because it was only voice level, not huge amplifier level. So I just yelled really loud. Doing a whole gig where I was yelling really loud, and people at the front were like, yeah, we could hear the vocals, that was amazing. I didn't know anybody could do that. And I was like, I had no choice, really, did I? It's just a bit weird. Thinking back now, when I kind of stare at a camera and I just imagine one person watching at the other end. Yeah. Rather than I've got some videos that have got like 1 million views, and that's too weird to think about. I can't comprehend like being stood on a stage with 1 million people.
Yes, sure.
And then watching a 15-second video of me like twirling my sticks or something. That's too mind-boggling for me at the moment. So I think about just one person that I'm chatting to, just like we are now. I might have even got inspiration from that from Terry Wogan on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
And somebody had asked Wogan in an interview, how do you feel, talking to the microphone and knowing that there are 12 million people listening. And he just said, well, there aren't 12 million people listening. There's only one person listening, and that's you. And I thought, yeah, that's right, actually. So there's only one person interacting with this conversation, and that's you, Ray.
Sure. Yeah, so, definitely. Yeah.
So it's now the same thing, kind of presenting to video. And I probably made maybe 700 to 1,000 videos.
Wow.
And that's about enough to get into my stride of, I got a process of preparing what I think I should be talking about. And I do that in the 1s and 3s. So I've got one technique, and I'm going to say 3 main things about it. And then if it's a longer video, I'm going to break down those 3 things into 3 sub things. So you end up with 9. But because I know that in my head already, I'm confident in my delivery. It's just that one thing, rather than thinking of new ideas while the camera's on and recording, and you're kind of going, oh yeah, and this other thing that I should have talked about 2 minutes ago, we're going to add that in. And that doesn't help anybody's understanding. That doesn't help anybody follow the thread of what you're trying to help them understand. So it's a combination of a lot of practice. And having moments where I've got the choice between, fight, flight, or freeze, right? Yes. The choice between freezing and continuing to look like a lemon, flight and running away from the stage. And, I was a young man, my ego couldn't take that, not someone who runs away. Although now I would be, so or fight in a kind of friendly, light-hearted, take the piss out of myself kind of way. That's where that presentation has come across. And I think it makes it more relaxed and a bit more relatable than like the super official, everything is corporate, and here is the thing we're going to present. And that I tried that. It's too much effort to maintain because it's not my personality. No, it's quite good. I mean, I think you do it quite well. And interesting what you say about the 3, because I also teach a lot of the instructors now to teach my instructors within our group. And one of the things I say, particularly when people first start teaching, is to split things into 3. I say to them, look at that technique and pick out 3 key points. But also, I think what I say is that as the people that you're teaching, as they become more advanced, then you can break that into more bits, maybe 5, eventually maybe 10. But start with that basic 3 and see how that goes. So yeah, it's an interesting concept, and one that I use in certainly for teaching the instructors or giving them information on how to get information across. So that's quite interesting. But absolutely, and with the 3s, and then the 3 to 5 or the 3 to 5 to 10, it works really well if the amount of brand new information is 3 or less. So if you're going 3 to 5, hopefully 2 or 3 of the 5 are reinforcing what they already know.
Yes.
And then 2 or 3 is kind of new.
Yes.
Or a little twist or a little extra on top of it. So it's not like 5 brand new things.
Yes.
It's kind of a little bit new and a bit more nuance and a reinforcement of what you already know. And that kind of combined secondary and tertiary level learning. That's almost like a spiral curriculum, isn't it? Where you come back to the same topic, but you get a little deeper on it each time.
Definitely. No,
awesome.
Thank you. No, thanks very much for that insight. That's interesting. Well, there's two things that I want to ask. The first thing is that our this conversation is brilliant. I love it, and I'm going to say this now, that I'd love to chat to you again on a part 2 at some point. So
perfect.
Maybe we can arrange that off camera. The second thing is that you mentioned that obviously you got a day job and things like that. Is that where do you see this going? So my people listening to this that know me well will know that I started life out as a development aircraft engineer at Rolls-Royce. I was very lucky to work on the Olympus 593, which was the engine for Concorde. I
Wow.
really enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed.
Sounds really cool.
It was. I really enjoyed the work, and I was extremely well paid. And then I went into a very, very poorly paid profession as a martial arts teacher, which is where I still am. And it's a long story to why I chose that, but. Apart from my passion for martial arts, but at the time I was competing, I wanted more time to compete and things like that. So, you know, I look back and think, wow, you know, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. But yeah, it was just really where you see it, where you'd like to take it. Is it something that you've thought of that you'd like to do, or is it a bit too risky, or is it something that you just want to, you know, you're happy doing what you're doing?
I'd like to keep it growing. I really like to keep it growing. So, and I feel like I've gone through some phases of the content type that I produce.
Yeah.
So my first content was purely for students, and that was produced in lockdown. So it's a lot around solo training and kind of home study. And that could be in addition to your usual class time, or I actually found more people who want to learn Filipino martial arts and don't have any instructor nearby them have then, you know, bought my course and studied themselves, and then taught their kid, and then done some practice together and sent me a video of it. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's really satisfying. It's fantastic to see. So that's been kind of student related, and similar with Challenge 28, which is the program that you've been through. That is a 28-day kind of bodyweight fitness and Filipino boxing.
Yes.
And that idea it's something that I run a couple of times, and I call it Challenge January, because after Christmas, everyone feels a bit crap in January. Well, I do anyway. Most of this comes from like scratching my own itch. So I try and make things that you know, I would have liked to have had 5 or 10 years ago, or I make something where I'm like, I'm really annoyed that doesn't exist yet, so I'm going to make it.
Right. Yeah.
Aggressive bodyweight using. And there's bodyweight movements. You select the exact movement type depending on your current kind of strength levels, and there's a first week where you can adjust it to yourself, but then you measure over the remaining 3 weeks how and there's waves of volume and how the program is written, and you measure at the end of week 1 and you measure at the end of week 4, and it's a time-based workout, and you see how much quicker you got. And everyone who's done it so far has improved their time over 4 weeks of doing the thing. And part of that is the Filipino boxing, Panantukan is another word for it, kind of shadow boxing style part of the workout. So it's quite active, and it usually only takes between 5 and 10 minutes each morning. You don't need any equipment and hardly any space. And I made it because I was getting up in the morning and feeling like a pile of rubbish, and forgot 5 or 10 minutes. Anyone can sneak in 5 or 10 minutes, can't they?
Yeah.
And I don't have to go to a gym anywhere. I don't have to pull the dumbbells out from the bottom of the cupboard anywhere. I don't have to put my boxing gloves on and have a punching bag or anything. I can just literally do it at the bottom of my bed in the room, and then I feel great for the rest of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like I made that, and I was like, going to try and give that to other people.
Sure.
So that was the part of the solo training arc of material. I've then gone to partner training stuff, which is still for students.
Yeah.
And there's a double stick course and a knife defense course, which uses pad work and a lot of resistance. I'm quite proud of that one. And already 2 other schools have adopted that as part of their knife defense program. So that's
okay. That's cool. Yeah.
That was something else. I was like, wow, that's quite cool.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
Then the latest thing that I'm making, it feels more like is my true mission, if I can use that word, mission.
Yeah.
Where, because I love Filipino martial arts so much, when you view it from the outside, quite often you'll only see the complicated looking stuff, and either it'll set you on fire, and that will be a very small percentage of martial artists, or the remainder will go, that's too complicated, or that has no value because they don't understand the context yet.
Yeah.
And so part of my mission is to get more people training Filipino martial arts, and do that through getting more instructors teaching it in a way that gets more people to do it. And so having this same simplistic approach, and having, ours is all based around sparring. And my recommendation for weapon sparring is you have very soft padded and light kind of sparring sticks and knives. And so there's very little consequence for getting it wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
And even the word sparring, I try and call them games, sparring games.
Yeah.
Even the word sparring sometimes conjures in people's mind, you know, like full on fight, get knocked out by the big heavyweight who's stood in the ring waiting for you, being like, I eat new people for breakfast. And that's put people off, isn't it? That puts new people off. That puts existing people off sparring. So having something that's based around playful games, where when you try something new and you mess it up, which is inevitable, and you should be, because you should be trying new things. And if you got it right, first of all, it wasn't hard enough. You already knew how to do it. You know, you should be trying new things that you can't do yet, and then practicing until you can do.
Sure.
And if there's a pain consequence, or if there's an injury consequence of getting it wrong, then that's going to put you off doing it anymore. So let's say we were only sparring with real rattan sticks and no gloves. I'm not going to try anything new because I get my hand broken. Yes, and then I can't do anything else until it's fixed, which is whatever, 6-9 months down the road.
Yeah.
Whereas we use these really light padded sticks, and also gloves and head guards and groin protection. Obviously, it's bad times if you don't do that. And what it means is that every class we can spar with trying to hit somebody 100% with the weapons, and it's a little sting, so you feel it and you don't want it, but there's no long-term pain or injury consequence.
Sure.
So it creates a playful learning environment.
Right.
And that being in a playful environment where you're relaxed actually means your brain is primed and in a much better state for taking on creating new neural pathways. Yeah. So new, it's not muscle memory, but muscle memory is the common term for it. Motor engrams is motor patterns and judgment patterns that go together.
Sure.
And that's what I'm trying to spread. So my message is like, it's not as scary as you might think. It's way more fun. And please teach your students this. Here's how to do it. So that's where I'm making the lesson plans and drill progression videos that goes with it. And so far, I've got about 20 people in my membership, and they're instructors from all over the world. And some of them are experienced Filipino martial arts instructors. Some of them are experienced instructors who wanted to add Filipino martial arts to their repertoire, to their class schedule. And some of them are kind of students or former students who want to form a new group where they've moved. And they're all getting on fantastically well with it. So we kind of meet up every month and we chat about what issues or problems or wins that we've had, and we try and solve each other's problems of how to find a new reliable training partner. Because once you've got a training partner, you can then start a training group, and you could be a kind of study group leader. And then once your study group grows, you could maybe turn it into a class if you wanted to or not. And how to kind of grow and spread the love of whacking each other worldwide. So that's the mission, and I'm doing it online so that I can reach more people.
Sure.
And I'm also doing it through content that I produce and then is useful for, well, maybe not forever, but for a long period of time.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that means that I can scale. I'm not teaching people one-on-one or one to a group, not teaching the same thing over and over again, because the core element is recorded. So I record it once, and then as many people as there are can play it or watch it as many times as they want to.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that leverage of time and potential for scaling is something that really excites me. And it's yeah, I wish I'd started sooner, but I'm glad I started already.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a great explanation, but no, that's fantastic, and you know, hey, wish you all the best with it. I think you'll be extremely successful, because from what I've seen on that one that I had a look at, I think, as I said, you've got a great delivery. You simplify it, and it comes over well. It's easy to understand. So, you know, more power to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Hope that comes on. Well, we're sort of coming to the end of the podcast, but as I said, I'd love to. There are lots of other things that I'd like to discuss with you. So, you know, while you're on audio here with lots of witnesses, I'd love you to come back and talk again.
Yes, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
A bit more, and just hang on after we finish this. By the way, just hang on. I'd love to chat to you off of audio again. And just to say, if you want to catch up with any of Harry's stuff, you know, go to fightdad.com. Is there anywhere else that people can catch you?
Yes, I've got a YouTube channel, which is also called Fight Dad. Okay. Or you can follow or friend request me on Facebook. I put quite a lot of short form content on my Facebook profile on there.
Sure.
I got a really amazingly friendly and welcoming Facebook group, which is called the Fight Dad Tribe. And it's not just me in there. There's a really good kind of encouraging, welcoming group of people in there from across the world, and we the main two events of the week are Success Sunday, where we share and celebrate any wins that we've had this week, whether it's small or huge, and everyone encourages each other there. And then the other part is Friday Flow, where there's some kind of short video of a weapons flow or shadowboxing flow or bodyweight workout or kettlebell or something, and it's just quite nice to share those videos with each other. And that only happens within our group, the Fight Dad Tribe. That's on Facebook as well.
Sure. Excellent. No, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, and just to kind of supplement the online teaching element, I still love teaching in person. And I have my own physical Kali class, and that's based in Bath. And I travel around the country and teach seminars as well, which I really love doing. So it's tempting for me to believe that I'm just like stuck in my garage and stood up here recording videos 100% of the time. But no, I do actually like interacting with people and hitting people in real life. So if you want to do that, then that would be amazing. Get in touch. And if it's a seminar, then try and work out a setup where it's good for everybody. So not yet at the point where I can just charge extortionate rates and that's it.
Oh, I think you should. Well, not extortionate rates, but I think you should, and I think you'd probably make a fantastic living as a full-time martial artist as well. So,
thank you, sir.
Well, yeah, no, thanks very much. So you've heard the information. Now, we will put that information again in the show notes. If anybody wants to connect with Harry, look at some of his stuff, I would get over to any of those links and, just take a look. I'm sure anybody starting out or any of the instructors that would like to enhance their program that they've got at the moment would really benefit from it. So I just want to say thanks, Harry. Thank you very much for taking the time to come on to the Living Martial Arts podcast with me, the Dark Master, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon and listen to you again very soon. And hopefully we can catch up in person as well with our mutual friend Adam as well.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Thanks very much for having me.
All right, you take care.